Om Sang Saraswati Namaha Namaste. Tonight we're going to talk about Bhutapsarana. And it's called the dispersion of inimical energies on page 99. Bhuta has a number of meanings, which makes a play on the words in the following verses, switching the meanings even while using the same word. So its noun form means variously purified being, good being, a created thing, the world, an uncanny being, a spirit, a ghost, goblin, past, fact, reality, actual occurrence, welfare, elements, especially as applied to the 5 gross elements of earth, water, fire, air, and ether. See the Bhuta Shuddhi, which we just completed. And here we are calling on the friendly or good Bhutas to destroy obstacles created by unfriendly or bad Bhutas. So this is really fun poetry. There's a lot of tricks you can play in Sanskrit. I guess we can in English, but it's even more fun in Sanskrit because the words have so many levels of meanings. For example, Shiva is surrounded by bhutas, bhut-preit, ghosts and goblins, or disembodied spirits, but these are not negative in any way. These are Shiva's gone. Shiva's assembly, his multitude, his followers. All the disembodied spirits follow Bhutanath. He's the Lord of disembodied spirits because he is in charge of the dissolution of creation. So when he makes the Sanghar, and he takes all into his collective self, because san means all, the collection. And har means to take away, to take into. So sanghar, when he makes sanghar, srishti, sthiti, loy. We just had mahaloy, the great dissolution. Shiva is in charge of loy, as well as mahaloy. But his loy, it means har. And sanghar means he takes all into his from their individual forms into his collective self. So he becomes Bhutanath, the Lord of all the disembodied spirits. Now, how do you have a spirit without a body? It's part of the cosmic whole. It has no individual identity except in the consciousness of the universal consciousness. It has a sanskar, or a tendency, a propensity, a capacity to manifest behavior in a certain way. And then it becomes manifest. When the behavior becomes manifest, the disembodied spirit becomes embodied. Or he touches, or she touches, another body in a certain way. And that's, Lord Shiva is Bhutanath. So here we're calling on the good Bhutas to take away the obstacles presented by the bad Bhutas. On page 100, Om apasarpantu te bhuta, ye bhuta bhuvi samstita, ye bhuta vigna kataraste, nasyantu shivagaya, Om bhuta preta pishashchashcha, Danava rakshasashtake santim kurvantu te sarve imam grikvatu madbalim Om betalascha pisachascha rakshasascha sarisupa apasarpantu te sarve narasingena taritaha. I usually throw flower petals in various places on the altar, all across the front of the altar, at the feet of all the gods. For me, it's a lot more convenient than using black sesame seeds and throwing them over my head, because I'd spend more time cleaning up the puja than I would spend making the puja. If you're making the puja outside, then that's really the old tradition, to throw some black sesame seeds over your head and all around you, so you're preparing a border around you, almost a Lakshmana Rekha. Remember when Ravana sent Marich to Sita's cottage in the form of a golden deer. Ram ran off in pursuit of the deer. And when the deer, who was really a demon in disguise, was shot, he called out, "Hey Lakshman, save me!" in Ram's voice. And he died. Sita said, "Lakshman, your brother's in trouble, go help him." And Lakshman replied, "Sita, my brother is the Lord of the three worlds, and he could never be in trouble. This is some deceit on the part of the demons." And Sita said, "I'm sorry, I can't accept the possibility of deceit on the part of the demons when my husband may be in trouble. Go find him and make sure that he's all right." And Lakshman again replied, "Sita, Ram gave me the order to stay here with you and not to leave you. And therefore, I can't disobey my brother's order." And Sita said, "I am your brother's wife and I'm the queen of our nation, and you obey my order." Lakshman said, "All right, Sita, I'll obey your order. You go inside the cottage." Sita went inside the cottage. And Lakshman took one arrow and chanted the mantra. And he drew a line in the sand all the way around the house. And he charged that line and said, "No inimical energy can cross this line." And that became known as Lakshmana Rekha. We did the same thing when we established this temple. We drew a line all the way around the circumference of the temple with ashes from the fire of all the yagyas that we have performed in the last many years. And we said no inimical energy can pass over that line. And that's why the vibration inside is as you find it today. Because we took with the ashes from all of our yagyas, and we drew a line all the way around the house, and we charged it with the same mantra as Lakshman charged his Lakshmana Rekha. And in this Bhutapsarana, we charged the line with black sesame seeds all around the worshiper and around the area of worship. And it forms a Lakshmana Rekha so that no inimical energy can permeate into the inner sanctum. Let's go back and read for a moment just what these mantras are saying. Om, we consign to you friendly spirits that are situated on this earth plane, the activity of destroying any obstacles placed by unfriendly spirits by order of the wisdom of infinite goodness. This is Shiva's order. Hey, ghosts, goblins, demons, unfriendly spirits, and various forms of negativity projecting egos. You have been made entirely at peace. Please accept this offering from me. So they come to the line. They see that there's an offering made to propitiate them. They're satisfied. We don't have to go inside. Our share is outside. We have been remembered. Other demons, goblins, various forms of negativity, projecting egos, creeping and crawling things, I consign to you completely the striking blows of Narsingh, Vishnu in his incarnation as a man and lion. So Vishnu was so powerful as a man, half lion, or the body of a man, the head of a lion, and he carried a big club. And if you don't accept the offering that's placed outside, try to come on inside, and Narasimha's going to bop you over the head with his bopper, otherwise known as Goda.
Swami, is this where the word vastu comes in? Is that the same thing that you're talking about?
Well, vastu has a generic meaning and it has specific meanings. It's a very, very broad term. So vastu generically refers to all architecture. This is also part of vastu. Now, it also pertains to the protection of the architecture. And it pertains to the protection of the structure. And it also refers to the mechanical engineering of a structure. So vastu is a very, very technical term. I wouldn't want to go there because it's not my field. But generically, vastu refers to anything pertaining to architecture. So it's a little too broad. Now we're going to talk about Aghamarshana. And Aghamarshana is like a jal neti. And we perform jal neti by taking water from the samanya argha. That's the purified water that we made in the beginning. And we put that water in the left palm. And we inhale it through the ira by closing the pingala. Then we close both nostrils and cleanse all the sinuses up until the Agni chakra. And then closing the ira, we let it drain through the pingala. And that's called jal neti. Jal is the water. The neti is the practice of cleaning the nostrils and all the nasal passages so that we can clean all the sinuses up to the Agni chakra and let everything open up and flow so that we can perform pranayama without obstruction. We'll inhale through the ira, that's the left nostril, by closing the pingala, which is the right nostril. And inhale until the entire abdomen cavity is filled with air. We'll perform our kumbhak, which is the retention of the air, by bringing that air all the way up, higher and higher and higher. And perform our japa mantra. And then we'll exhale through the pingala by closing the ira. And we should perform at least 3 repetitions of this form of alternate nostril breathing through the ear and the pingala from the form of pranayama. And after you've touched your nose, we'll want to wash our hands. Take some water from the Sanyarga, wash your hands. Let's recite the mantras. Om Ritamidyasya Ritrayasya Aghamarshana Rishir Anushtup Chando Bhava Vritam Devatam Ashwamedha Babrite Binyoga. Om Ritam Cha Satyam Cha Abhidatta Paso Ajayata Tato Ratriya Jayata Tata Samudra Dharnabha Samudra Dharnabha Tati Samvatsara Ajayata Ahoratrani Vidada Vishwasya Vishato Vashi Surya Chandra Masodata Yata Purvamakapakad Divang Chapritiving Chantariksham Matoswaha. And thereafter we perform jal neti. We take the water in the ira, we take it out from the pingala, and we perform at least 3 repetitions of pranayama.
Is there a certain ratio between the breathing in?
There is. It's 2, 4, 1, or 4, 16, 2. I'm sorry, it's 1, 4, 2 is the normal ratio. 1, 4, 2. So 1 is called purak. That's the inhalation. 4 is called kopak. And 2 is called rechak. And we use the mantra to measure the breath. So we recite it silently, of course, when we're performing pranayama, inhaling the mantra. Om Ying Ring Kling Chamunda Gibiche. Om Ying Ring Kling Chamunda Gibiche. Purak, Kumbhak, Rechak. The 3 phases of pranayama. Inhalation, retention, and exhalation. Prana, dhyana, samana, and apana.
So you do 3
cycles.
3 cycles in from the left out to the right, in from the right out to the left.
No,
or always from the left.
We always go from the left.
Okay.
There are many different traditions, and in every Gurukul they could teach it possibly differently. Some people say switch them. You start on the left and then go to the right. Go start on the right, go to the left. I get confused. So in our Gurukul, we just do it one way. Keep it simple. Any other question about Aghamarshana? Let's go back and read the meaning of these mantras. Om, introducing the 3 mantras that begin with from truth. Ritam mityasya, ritam cha satyam. That they begin with from truth. Ritam cha satyam, from the nectar of truth, from the kernel of truth. It's a very famous Rigvedic mantra. Internal cleansing is the seer, Anashtup is the meter, 32 syllables to the verse. Who changes the intensity of reality is the divinity. Equal in merit to the horse sacrifice, this practice is being offered in application. The horse sacrifice was supposedly one of the great sacrifices that kings could perform in ancient India. And what they did was they allowed a horse to go, well decorated and adorned horse. It used to wander freely wherever he wandered, and every king into whose kingdom the horse would wander had the option to recognize the divinity of and the power of the approaching king, or to fight with the army that was following the horse. After the horse circumambulated all of India, the horse would return to its home station, and there would continue a sacrifice, and everybody would come, all the kings would come from India to recognize the supremacy of this kingdom. And this was supposed to be one of the greatest merits that a king could perform, because in doing so he united all the different countries of India, and they stopped their fighting. Everyone recognized the supremacy. All the other kings came in peace, and they brought offerings, and they shared with one another. And then, so this was the greatest merit of a king in ancient India. So this performance of pranayama is every day equal to the performance of a horse sacrifice. Om from truth. From the imperishable truth, the performers of tapasya, or strict spiritual discipline, have come. Ritam cha satyam cha abhida tapaso ajayata. They came from imperishable truth. Whoever performed tapasya came to tapasya from their longing for the imperishable truth. Then came forth the night, and then the sea of objects and relationships with the multitude of its waves. From the fluctuations of the waves on the sea, the years came forth. The night transformed into day, and the universe took birth. The sun and the moon gave forth their lights in accordance with the command of the Creator, and the earth, the atmosphere, and the heavens were his own. And they all belong to him, or to her, or to us, as parts of the one being. So this recitation is comparable to the Ashwamedha Yajna. Now let's go to Agni Prajwalita. Enkindling the sacred fire. And these are very important mantras. Through this process, we're going to enkindle a circle of fire around the circumference behind the deity and behind the worshiper. We're going to draw a circle of fire right around our backside and right around the backside of the deity. And then we're going to watch as the flames grow higher and higher and higher and higher. And now, just inside this circle of fire, there's me and God. It's really a nice place to be. No other energy can permeate our wall of fire. It's a great meditation. Mathur Babu said when he saw Ramakrishna performing Agni Prajwalitam, he saw sparks coming out of his head. And he actually physically saw the Ramakrishna sitting in a ring of fire. That's written in the Kathamrita. The Agni Prajwalita will use this same vidhi in the yajna, enkindling the sacred fire. But here in the puja, we're going to enclose ourselves along with the deity in a circle of fire and make those flames grow higher and higher and higher until there is no possibility of our having any disturbance from the outside. It's impossible to permeate the circle of fire. Let's recite the Sanskrit. We start with Agni Gayatri. Om Vaishvanaraya Vidmahe Laliloya Dhimaki Tano Agni Prachodayad. A form of Upasanghar Mudra. Vayami Agni Pratamang Swastaye Vayami Mitra Varuna Bhyabase Vayami Ratring Jagato Nivesaning Vayami Devam Savitara Mutaye. Assemble! I'm calling you! Vayami! I'm calling you, gods! Please come! Hiranya Garbha Samavarta Tagre Bhutasya Jata Sparir Ekasa Asit Sadadara Prithiving Yamute Mang Kasmi Devaya Habisha Vidma Yata Vidwang Arankarad Visvevyo Yajatevya Ayamagne Tveyapi Yanyagyang Chakrima Bhagam Twamagne Pratamo Angirash Rishir Devo Deva Nama Bhavasiva Saka Tava Brate Kabayo Vidmanapaso Ajayantam Bharato Brajadrishtaya Twang Mukam Sarva Devadam Saptachir Abidmate Agachaha Bhagwanagne Yagye Yasmin Sanidapava Vaishwanara Jatabeda Yava Loitaksha Sarva Karmani Sadhaka Swa Magni Mire Purokutam Yagesha Devam Ritwijam Hokaram Ratadatamam Magni Pradvalitam Bande Jata Bedam Gutasandam Suvarna Parna Marmalang Samidam Dishpatomukam Omagaye Namaha Agnitwam Chandika Namasi Om Bhagishwari Mitusnatang Nilendi Varalochanam Bhagishwarina Sangyutam Kira Bhavasamanvitam Eteganda Pushpe Om Ring Bhagishwarya Ginabam Eteganda Pushpe Om Ring Bhagishwarya Ginabam Eteganda Pushpe Agni Ranya Disaptaji Hwabhyom Namam Eteganda Pushpe Om Sahasra Rachi Rita Kakadaba Ityad Yagne Sharan Gevyo Nama Etikanda Pushpe Om Agnaki Jata Beda Saityad Yashtamurti Vyo Nama Etikanda Pushpe Om Brahma Yashta Shakti Vyo Nama Etikanda Pushpe Om Padma Yashta Nidhi Vyo Nama Etikanda Pushpe Om Indra Dilokpale Vyo Nama Etikanda Pushpe Om Bhadrastre Vyo Nama Etikanda Pushpe Vanir Chaitanya Yadama Etikanda Pushpe Agni Murtake Nama Om Agnaye Namaha Rang 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 Rang. And I usually make japa of the bija rang, the bija of Agni 108 times. While I watch the flames grow higher and higher and higher, all-encompassing. There is nothing but me and my mama. And in Bengali, there's a beautiful song that says, Ma achen arami ache, baba naki ache amar, mayer hate kai ami, ma ni achen sakal bar. It says, the Divine Mother is, and I am. And who can describe the intensity of my feeling? Who can describe my reality? Mayer hate kayami, I eat from Mother's hand. And Ma has taken my entire responsibility. And that's what it's like to be in that circle of fire with Ma and me. And no one else can disturb us. Let's go back and read the English. In kindling the sacred fire, we meditate upon that all-pervading being. We contemplate the luminous one who is the final resting place of all. Everyone ends up in the fire. May that divine fire, the light of meditation and the light of wisdom and the light of purity, because he's the purifier. May that light of meditation grant us increase. He's burning in the third eye, the sun, the moon, and the fire. I'm calling you, Agni, the divine fire, the light of meditation, first to grant success. I'm calling you friendship and the continuous flow of equilibrium also to receive this offering. I am calling the night of duality who covers the universe. I'm calling the light of wisdom, the divine being, to rise up within us. Whyami, assemble! I'm calling you to assemble. O golden womb, you are the one eternal existence from which all beings born on the earth have come forth. You always bear the earth and all that rises upon us. You tell us, to which God shall we offer our knowledge and attention? There are so many that are worthy of receiving our knowledge, our attention, our devotion. To whom? Kasmai devaya habisha vidbeha. Which one? Through knowledge of this eternal cause, all beings born in the universe have come forth. It is in you, O Agni, O light of meditation, in the flame of sacrifice, that this constant movement will find rest. Just stare into the fire and watch all the movement being consumed by the flames until we achieve stillness. O you, O divine light of meditation, are the first among the performers of spiritual discipline. A seer, a god. Your name became one with all of the gods. You are the friend of Shiva, the consciousness of infinite goodness. Through devotion to you, all the inspired poets, the rishis who propounded Vedic knowledge or the wisdom of universality, they come to divine knowledge, as did the Maruts. The 49 gods of severe penance come forth from your worship. So Agni manifested as a tapasak. He performed tapasya. There was a historical being named Agni who came in the form of fire, and he became a seer, a rishi, and he became a god. And his name became one with all of the gods. Just like in our own day, we know the history of Ramakrishna. He was a man, and he did tapasya. He performed a certain way of life that purified him and made him a rishi, a seer of universal divinity. And seeing the oneness inherent in all creation, he became a god. So much so that 100 years after his leaving the earth plane, we have temples for Ramakrishna all around the world, even in America. And his name has become a symbol of divinity everywhere. He's a friend of Shiva. This is the path that all of us will take. We will become divine by performing the same tapasya in the same way that they performed. So all the rishis propounded this way. By putting our attention into the light of purity, into the light of meditation, into the flaming, blazing, burning light of devotion and wisdom and knowledge, we become purified ourselves. We become like the object of our meditation. We assume the qualities, we inculcate the qualities of the object of our meditation upon which we are concentrating. That becomes our own. It becomes our nature, and it becomes second nature to us. The swabhav, the intrinsic nature, the natural attitude. And we become the beings about whom we are reading right now. You are the mouth of all the gods. With your 7 tongues you accept the offerings. Come here, O Lord, divine fire, and take your seat in the midst of our sacrifice. Om, O universal being, knower of all, come here with your red eyes. All of our karma, burn it. I am one with God. So you have 7 tongues, you burn up our karma on 7 levels of consciousness. Bhur, Bhuva, Swa, Maha, Jana, Jana, Tapa, Satyam. On every level of consciousness, you consume our karma, all of our karma. Sarva karmoni. Sadhaya swa. Purify it all. Burn it. We don't need that old karma anymore. Om Agni, light of meditation, you are the priest of sacrifice, serving the offering of the divine nectar of immortality. You give jewels to those who offer. Om, we lovingly adore the divine fire, the light of meditation, sparkling, flaming brightly, knower of all, recipient of our offerings. With his excellent golden color, everywhere his omnipresent mouths are devouring oblations. Om, we bow to the divine fire. O divine fire, we are now calling you by the name of Chandi, she who tears apart thoughts. Come, purify our thoughts, tear them all and consume them. You are the mouth of all the gods. Through you alone, everyone is eating. We're giving, no matter what god we're feeding, we give it to you. We call Varuna, we give the offering to Agni. We call Shiva, we give the offering to Agni. We call the Divine Mother, Om Durgai Namaha, Durgai Swaha. We give the offering to Agni. Tvam Mukham Sarvadevanam, you are the mouth of all the gods. Through you alone all are eating, and now we're calling you by the name Chandi. Om, the supreme goddess of speech, dear Mother Saraswati has just completed her bath following her monthly course of menstruation. With eyes of blue bestowing boons, she moves into union with Bhagishwar, Brahma, the Lord of all vibrations, and together they create the intensity of reality, the attitude that unites all. So here they are, she's fertile and ready to come in and accept the seed, and together they cohabit and they bring forth this Brahmanda, the Vishwa Brahmanda, the egg of creation. And that egg is nurtured and protected by Vishnu, and ultimately it's cracked by Shiva, and out come all the possibilities of creation to manifest. With these scented flowers, and we bow to the supreme goddess of speech, or all vibrations. We're bowing to Saraswati, Vagishwari. We, with this scented flowers, and we bow to the supreme Lord of speech, the Lord of all vibrations, to Brahma, Vagishwar. With these scented flowers, and we bow to the 7 tongues of the divine fire, such as golden, and they come out as Kali, Karali, Manojava, Suloita, Sudumraparna, Ugra, Sfulingini, or Pradipta. Black, increasing, formidable, swift as thought, excellent shine, purple, fearful, giving light. With these scented flowers, and we bow to the heart, from which emanated 1,000 rays. In this way, we establish the divine fire in the 6 centers of the body, and if you want, you can make Rang Rida Gain Rings, Sirose Swarung, Sikaya Kivasharing, Gakabachakam, Rong Natra Trakabashara, Karoto Kaprishta Bangastraya. Om Agni Namaha. In the 6 centers of the body, Sharanganyas. It's not necessary, you can just visualize it as well. But if you want, you can perform the entire nyas. With these scented flowers, we bow to the divine fire, the knower of all, etc. In his 8 forms of worship, Jatabeda, knower of all. Saptajiva, 7 tongue, Vaishwanara, universal being, Havya Vahana, carrier of oblations, Ashwodaraja, fire of the stomach or the lower areas, Komara Tej, from which the son of Shiva is born, Vishwamukh, which can devour the universe, or which is the mouth of the universe. Devmukh, the mouth of the gods. With these scented flowers, we bow to the 8 Shaktis, or energies, such as Brahmani, Brahmi, Narayani, Maheshwari, Chamunda, Komari, Aparajita, Varaki, Narasimhi. The creative consciousness, the exposer of consciousness, the energy of the seer of all, slayer of passion and meanness, that ever pure one, the unconquerable, the boar of sacrifice, the man-lion of courage. With these scented flowers, we bow to the 8 treasures of the Lord of Wealth, such as Padma, etc. That's Kuber's treasury. Padma, Mahapadma, Shankha, Makara, Kachap, Mukunda, Nanda, Nila. The lotus of peace, the great lotus of universal peace. The conch of all vibrations, the emblem of love. The tortoise, the emblem of support. The crest jewel, bliss. The blue light within, like a sapphire. Look at how they define the 8 forms of wealth. Ashtanidhi. It's not about the gross wealth. I want a little more from the world. I want more peace. I want greater peace. I want more love. I want to be filled with all vibrations, one with all vibrations, and looking at the blue light within. The blue sapphire. With these scented flowers, we bow to Indra and the protectors of the 10 directions. Lokapala, Dasha Dikpalebhyo Namaha, or Lokapala, Indra, Agni, Yam, Nerit, Varuna, Vayu, Kuvera, or Som, Isana, Brahma, and Vishnu, and they stand for the east, southeast, south, southwest, west, northwest, north, northeast, above and below. So you have the 8 cardinal points of the compass, and above and below. These are the 10 directions. With these scented flowers, we bow to the thunderbolt and the other weapons. So we have the Vajra and the Shakti, Danda, Kharga, Pasha, Ankush, Goda, Trishul, Padma or Kamandalu, a chakra. These are Indra's thunderbolt, Agni's spear or his dart or his energy, Yam's staff. He's got this danda, Yam danda. Nerit's sword, Varuna's net or noose, Vayu's hook, Kuvera's mace, Isana's trident, Brahma's lotus or begging bowl, and Vishnu's discus. So each one of the deities in each of the directions has a special weapon with which they protect us. With these scented flowers, we bow to the consciousness of divine fire. With these scented flowers, we bow to the image of the divine fire, the light of meditation. We bow to the divine fire. Rung, 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 rung. Ra means the subtle body. A means consciousness. Anuswar means perfection. Ram, the manifestation of perfection in the subtle body of consciousness. And that's the Bij mantra of Agni. And that's also the Bij mantra of Ram. Are there any questions? Please.
We have 12 flowers with the put. And normally we say, but we only have here 11 Etikan Bushbase. So we put the flower at Ityagni Sandagi Namaha.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. I put a flower for the Sharanganyas to represent that.
Swamiji,
Please.
here's the Ashta Shaktis.
Yes.
You call them as Brahmi, Narayani, Maheshwari, and so on.
Yes.
When we do the Ashta Shakti Puja, you have Ugrachanda, Prachanda.
Yes.
Are the two related?
No, these are two different sets of Shaktis. Just like we have two different Navadurga pujas, this is a second set of Ashtashaktibhyo. And there are several sets of Saptarishi. So sometimes you will see the ones that we have in the Sarvabhadra Devata, Sarvabhadra Mandala, are different from various enumerations in different scriptures. So there are different pujas for each of the different elements. Again, with these weapons, these 10 weapons are different from the weapons that the Astra Puja that we do for Durga. So they don't necessarily need to coincide. It's not possible to reconcile all the different sources. But remember, when we read these pujas, we're reading a compendium, an anthology, almost an encyclopedia of Sanatana Dharma. And each one of these mantras is pointing to new resources, which is a whole body of teachings, where you can amplify and expand your knowledge. Each one of these, it's almost like an index of knowledge that you should study. And that's what we're doing. It's almost a sutra. In the same way as a sutra is almost like cheat notes, an outline. If you were going to give a speech, you wouldn't write out the entire speech. You would write out the main points that you want to touch on. And that's called a sutra. These pujas are like a sutra because they point to different resources and different scriptures where we could research and find a humongous volume of literature that amplifies the same subject. So remember that the entire Bhagavad Gita is a mere 700 verses out of the Mahabharata, which comprises 100,000 verses. Remember that the Chandi is a mere 700 verses out of the Markandeya Purana, which comprises 18,000 verses. Remember that the Skanda Purana has given forth to the Guru Gita, which is in some versions 186 verses and some versions 242 or 256. I'm not sure which. But the Skanda Purana is 18,000 verses long as well. The Devi Gita is a mere 12 adhyayas, 12 chapters out of one book of the 12 books of the Srimad Devi Bhagavatam. So these are the essence. But look at the way, if you follow the essence and read the background literature as to what was the setting and the circumstance and the history and the philosophy and what were the prevailing circumstances when these scriptures were recited, then you get a lot more understanding into the analogies that they're drawing and the usage of their words. It makes a lot more sense when you read the whole scripture. Unfortunately, they're big books. And I can't translate them all. Veda Vyas did, but I'm just a little Vyas. Are there any other questions?
Swamiji, when we do the Agni Prajwalitam at the fire,
Yes.
do we continue to imagine fire around us?
No. At the fire, we imagine the fire growing in front of us. In the Homa, we do it with the fire growing in front of us. And in the Puja, we do it with the fire growing around us. So the objective is to remove any obstruction any even potential obstacle to our sitting in perfect communion with our beloved deity. And that's what this fire does. It's a Lakshmana Rekha. It provides us a protective barrier. Something many countries are considering right now, to put a protective barrier around their whole country so no inimical energies can come into the atmosphere, into the environment. In the same way, we want to protect our country and our special relationship, so let's make the best barrier we possibly can, a barrier of blazing fire. Om Sang Saraswati Namaha. Namaste.